Everyone is constantly seeking the next 10, 20, or even 100x token, and I'm guessing that includes you because who really isn't? But problem is most tokens lack substance or utility. Today I'm diving into one that completely breaks the mold, and that is AKT. Akash Network not only has real-world utility, but it also is being used today, and the numbers are mind-blowing. I'll show you exactly why Akash Network and the AKT token are ones you do not want to sleep on. Let's go. So I'm going to cover what Akash Network is, how it functions, its unique selling proposition or USP, discuss the tokenomics, cover some metrics, and also share my price prediction for the AKT token. This is going to be a jam-packed video and one that you won't want to miss. But before I do, as always, this is not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. You know the spiel, so let's get into it. So to start, Akash Network is a decentralized cloud computing marketplace that connects those who need computing power with those who have it to spare. You could think of it as the Airbnb for cloud computing, basically. By leveraging unused server capacity, Akash allows users to rent out their excess resources, making cloud services more affordable and efficient. So you know that cloud up there? Well, yeah, nothing like that, but I'm sure you've saved stuff to the cloud or heard people talk about it before, whether it's Google Cloud or Amazon or Dropbox or a half a dozen other online storage or compute platforms. Well, Akash is similar, but again, entirely decentralized, meaning there's no owner or central point of control, unlike say Google or Amazon, for example, that are completely controlled by them. So their platform connects providers with clients through a decentralized marketplace, offering a secure and transparent platform for deploying cloud-native applications. And this is huge. And the fact that Akash allows anyone to become a cloud supplier is game-changing. But there's something even bigger that sets it apart from centralized cloud providers like AWS and others. Stay tuned to find out what that unique advantage is. And there are three really unique selling points. First major unique selling point of Akash Network is its incredible cost efficiency. By utilizing underused computing resources through its decentralized marketplace model, Akash is able to offer cloud computing services at a fraction of the price of traditional public cloud providers. Now, if you're finding this information beneficial, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could go ahead and hit that like and subscribe down below so I can provide more content like this in the future. In some cases, Akash can reduce costs by as much as 85% compared to the likes of AWS or Azure. This cost savings is achieved through a few key mechanisms. First, Akash leverages spare and unused hardware from around the world, eliminating infrastructure costs for data centers and servers that centralized providers must pay for. It also introduces competitive pricing with rates that are routinely 10 times lower than public cloud. Perhaps most importantly though, Akash provides full pricing transparency with no hidden fee. Users truly know exactly what they will pay for the resources they consume. Let's see what Greg Asuri, the CEO of Akash Network, has to say about the price differences between Akash Network and the big competitors such as AWS and Google Cloud.
So for H100s, which is very, very high demand, Amazon charges about $12 an hour and Akash charges about $2 an hour. So that's like literally the cost difference, right? For H100. For A100, Amazon, I haven't checked A100. I don't know if Amazon has any, but Akash charges about $1.60. $1.20, and the competition is from others we could see from like Replicate and whatnot. They charge about $6.80 or something. So it's very expensive.
Now, beyond just low prices, Akash also gives users flexible pricing options tailored to their specific needs. This helps businesses better manage their budgets, and the decentralized marketplace structure means providers must compete on both price and quality of service to attract customers. All of this combined means that Akash delivers unbelievable cost efficiency that helps companies both large and small harness the full power of cloud computing without breaking the bank. Another major advantage Akash has over centralized cloud providers is its fully decentralized framework. Because there is no single company or data center controlling the network, Akash avoids any central points of failure. This greatly enhances the overall security, reliability, and uptime of the cloud infrastructure. But perhaps more significantly, Akash's decentralized nature means there is no central authority that can censor or block certain applications from being deployed. Developers truly have an unprecedented level of openness and freedom to run any software they choose on the Akash network. This degree of neutrality and lack of restrictions has never been seen before in cloud computing. Now, you might be wondering, how does Akash turn these benefits into real-world applications? Stick around, because we're about to uncover how businesses are already leveraging Akash to transform their operations. But next, let's talk tokenomics. Now, if you've heard of Akash Network, then I'm guessing you've probably heard of the AKT token. But what exactly does it do and why should you care? It's got three big roles that make it critical to everything happening on the platform. First off, AKT is the currency of choice for buying computing resources on the Akash marketplace. So if you want to rent decentralized cloud computing power, you've got to pay with AKT. This gives the token some serious real-world utility as more people hop on the network using it to run apps or handle data or whatever else they want to do with decentralized cloud. The demand for AKT naturally goes up. It's like the fuel that keeps the whole engine running. Now here's the cool part. Up until recently, AKT was the only way to pay for these resources. And while that was great for the token's demand, it was also kind of a pain for new users who didn't have easy access to buy AKT. Not everyone wants to jump through hoops just to get started. But guess what? Akash heard you. They've since added other payment options, and soon enough, you'll even be able to pay with your credit card. And best of all other forms of payment are converted to AKT, so it doesn't diminish the demand for the AKT token. That's a massive game changer that's going to lower the barrier of entry and bring many more users into the fold. Second, and this is where things get really interesting, AKT powers the network staking mechanism. And here's where the incentives kick in. Staking your AKT doesn't just add to network security by decentralizing the system, but it also earns you rewards. So staking AKT gets you more AKT, thanks to the transaction fees generated on the network. Listen to what Greg Asuri has to say about this.
So tenant pays the provider, say $100 per every hour for using their compute. A percentage, let's say 20%, goes back to the Akash network and gets distributed to all the people that are staking on the Akash network as an incentive.
So as revenue increases, demand will also follow because stakers will earn more and more passive. But that's not all. AKT also plays a huge role in governance. Think of it like this: the more AKT you stake, the bigger voice you have when it comes to decision making within the network. And we're not just talking about small time stuff here. You get to vote on critical changes to the platform, including upgrades and future developments. So holding and staking AKT doesn't just give you rewards, it gives you influence. You're literally shaping the future of decentralized cloud computing. Now let's talk numbers, because I know some of you are all about tokenomics. The total supply of AKT is capped at around 388 million tokens, with about 247 million currently in circulation. But here's the kicker: the remaining supply will be released gradually over the next 6 years, and that process wraps up in September of 2030. So we're looking at a controlled release, which is super important for avoiding crazy inflation. So we've got real-world utility, built-in staking incentives to reward long-term holders, and thanks to the burn mechanism, a way to increase value by reducing supply. A pretty powerful combo if you ask me, and one that's looking to shake up a multi-trillion-dollar industry currently dominated by giants like AWS, Google, and Microsoft. The AKT token offers some serious long-term upside for those willing to stick around and watch the platform evolve, especially as AI continues to pick up, which you and I both know it will. Listen to what Greg has to say about that.
I read a stat somewhere that said about 5% of global GDP will be spent on AI compute in the very, I think in 2030 or something. And it's believable the way AI is going, right? It's going to need a lot more chips, and we don't have capacity as humanity to produce a lot of chips. The only way we can achieve that level of usage is by looking inward, like what we have right now that's not being utilized. So the goal of Akash is to get there.
For reference, global GDP in 2023 is estimated to be over 100 trillion. So we're talking about potential for a massive market beyond what most can even imagine. And that is a perfect segue into our price prediction. But before we get there, I want to show you some of the ways AKT is being used currently and some numbers that show you the massive potential that Akash has. Now, one of the best parts about Akash Network is that it is actually in use today, and Akash couldn't be positioned more perfectly to capture the booming AI narrative too. So let's dive into some applications and numbers so you can see exactly what I mean by that. Here is the State of Akash Network Q2 report that was just published a few weeks ago. As you can see, they've got a lot of details we're going to go over here. Starting with demand side activity on Akash grew as new leases increased 44% quarter over quarter and active leases increased 11%, hitting all-time highs. Akash providers earned a record 176,000 in revenue in Q2 as 27,000 new leases were open throughout the quarter. Also, their partnerships are huge. A variety of notable projects announced integrations with Akash, including Brev, which was acquired by NVIDIA. And we're going to dive into some of these numbers even more. So let's go check this out. Here we've got a metrics overview of Q2. Circulating market cap, as you can see, it's been growing fairly steadily. It actually had a little bit of a downturn in Q2 of 2024, but revenue has been continuing to go up. Look at this growth quarter over quarter of revenue that's come in, as well as reward rewards for stakers just continuing to climb and increasing at crazy rates. Look at this as well. New leases. Look at this growth. 6.3, 6.8, 14, 19, 27.4. The growth has been amazing on this platform. Now let's go take a closer look at the new leases and see the growth of this. So as you can see, 27,000 new leases opened up in Q2 of 2024, which is up 44% quarter over quarter. Just look at this growth. Actual use of the platform, which is great. And this brings in money and supplies more value to token holders. On top of that, let's go ahead and look at their active leases and total revenue. As you can see here, the red line here is their daily revenue, and it was almost non-existent last year. It came up high. It spiked over 3,000 earlier this year, and with the downturn in the market, it did come down, but this chart is also a few months old, only showing through Q2. And as of recently, they were doing around 5,000 a day in revenue. Funny enough is that is actually around the same or even more than many layer ones such as Polkadot and others. So the use case is here and people are actually using the platform and the potential is out of this world. So overall, some pretty impressive numbers. And by now, if you aren't bullish on Akash, then I don't know what else to say. But I know you're probably waiting to hear some price predictions. That's what many of you are probably here for. So let's get into it. So as of today, as you can see, the price of Akash AKT token is $2.29 with a market cap of just under $569 million. The fully diluted market cap is just over 890. So still less than a $1 billion market cap. And here's the chart so you can see how it has performed. Just like everything else, it had a huge spike in 2021 and then came down. We saw some great numbers at around 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents for quite some time. And this is when a lot of people were accumulating. It came back up when things were looking great for the entire market and back up to around $5, $6 recently. And as you can see, it settled back down around $2.29. It hit an all-time high of $8 back in the previous bull run. So it still has quite a ways to go just to hit the all-time high, but the potential is certainly there. But let's get into the really good stuff now. So here I've got a chart. As you can see, it shows the current price, $2.26, the current market cap, $560 million, and the current dominance it has in the entire space is 0.03%. And what this chart shows here is projections for the total crypto market cap. You think it's going to be 1 trillion, 2, 3, 5, 10. Personally, I think we're going to see 5, if not 10 trillion or higher in the near future. Just over 3 trillion is what we saw last bull run. And with its current dominance of 0.03%, it falls right in between these two categories here. And just at the 3 trillion market cap, we're looking at about a $4.50 to $5 Akash token, which is a double. That's a 2x, just going off of probably the most bearish and conservative numbers possible. But let me go ahead and show you what I think is really going to happen. I think it's very possible for us to see a 5 or 10 trillion market cap, if not higher, because there is so much liquidity sitting on the sidelines waiting to come in, and this market is going to be huge sooner or later. On top of that, with Akash having such powerful utility and actually being used, I think the dominance is also going to increase. So I think some of these numbers that you see here in the yellow box are totally possible. On the bearish or conservative side, it's $11.41, and that is just around a 5x. Very conservative number. But if you want to go more towards bullish case, we're talking as much as $114, which is over a 40x. I believe. So much potential here. And just to give more clarity, this one right here, $11.41, is still less than a $5 billion market cap. Compare that to what we saw last cycle. That is actually relatively tiny. For example, Render right now, which is a competitor in a way because they offer a different type of service and they're actually not truly decentralized like Akash, has, I believe, around a $3 billion market cap right now, which would put the token at around $8.56, I believe, if the market caps were just to line up with Render right now during the bear market. So the potential is certainly there, and over time, as the AI narrative continues to pick up and more compute is needed, Akash has so much potential to grab tons of market share, and we could even see some numbers like this, $570 or $11.40 over time for the AKT token. That is not out of the question over a couple cycles or maybe by 2030. Now, once again, all of this is not financial advice. I just wanted to share what I think is truly possible for this amazing project and token. What are your thoughts? Bullish? Bearish? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this project. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.